leaving Harry to suffer the disaster in the UK, Meghan's ploy to release a new book. As Harry stands in court, his wife is ready to share her story with the world. Reportedly, there are whispers around American TV studios that bids are already in for Meghan's sit-down interviews. And why is that exactly? Well, because apparently Meghan is now writing her side of the story, and she's going to be ready to do a full-on publicity tour by the time the book comes out. As Prince Harry is getting ready to tell even more private information about his life with an appearance at the High Court in his ongoing legal cases, Meghan is getting ready to tell her version of events. I really wouldn't have thought that either of them could possibly have anything left to say, but apparently I am wrong. After they basically tried to destroy the royal family through Oprah and Netflix and Spare, surely we have heard enough. But apparently not, because it seems that Meghan and Harry's plan to speak their truth in the form of interviews and documentaries and podcast series and a book deal, in exchange for money and sympathy and praise for doing exactly that, is not really going very well. Apparently this plan is blowing up in their faces. As I've already reported, Meghan and Harry's approval ratings have plummeted on both sides of the Atlantic. I'm sure this was not the future that Meghan had in mind when she and Harry decided to run away to California. Was her goal not to trade in her royal life to become the next Amal Clooney, to spend her days working hard for women's rights as a glamorous philanthropist and going to the most exclusive Hollywood parties? According to polls, it looks like Meghan is about as popular as Philip Schofield is with Holly Willoughby. Who could have predicted it? Now, earlier this year, it was reported that Harry and Meghan had a 4-book deal with Penguin Random House worth somewhere close to 28 to 33 million pounds, and then Meghan was planning to write one of the books. It is obvious that both Harry and Meghan view Meghan as the second coming of Princess Di, silenced, neglected by the royal family, until finally she discovered her freedom by telling her story through Andrew Morton and Diana, her true story. So keeping that in mind, it didn't take a genius to predict that Meghan would want to be telling her own story. Meghan has already gotten ready for a big comeback to public life with the powerhouse talent agency WME, and apparently they're planning to focus on building Meghan's global enterprise, whatever that is. Is she trying to dominate the entire world? I wouldn't doubt it. And apparently Meghan has quite the team at the agency. It includes the Power Agent turned Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel, Brad Slater, the rep and brand architect within the agency for Dwayne Johnson, and also Serena Williams' agent Jill Smaller. A source has said there are no limits to her ambition. But what in the world is she going to put in that book? We're going to hear about this girl power message of how Meghan all by herself changed a sexist Procter & Gamble ad for washing up liquid. Now later on, the truth came out that Procter & Gamble and advertising historians couldn't verify Meghan's claim, and so Vanity Fair had to cut out that little anecdote from her interview. And we'll hear all about Meghan's upbringing as the biracial daughter of the white Hollywood lighting director father and the black social worker mother. I'm sure it'll also contain a lot of Brené Brown-style buzzwords like dare to lead and the power of vulnerability. And I'm sure Meghan's going to try to tell us that we need to discover the girl boss inside of ourselves as we're just living our normal lives, like doing some online shopping and paying for school uniforms and also our house insurance. And at the same time, we got to find some way to pay off our heating bills. Should the royal family feel worried about even more revelations coming from Meghan? Well, I would guess so. That Montecito McMansion and those private jets are not going to pay for themselves after all. And going after the firm seems a lot more likely than reconciliation, because that is what the public is interested in, and that's what keeps the money rolling in. We already know from what Harry said in Spare that Meghan has plenty more to say on the ridiculous little petty fights that she had with Catherine, like over the lip gloss, and William, and those pesky courtiers who dared to consider Meghan a bully. And let's not forget, the New York Post reported that she might be resurrecting her lifestyle blog, The Tig, after a document was filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. There are also rumors circulating that Meghan may come back to Instagram after she was forced to shut down her Sussex royal page when the late Queen refused to give permission to Meghan and Harry to use the term royal. So essentially, it sounds like Meghan is back. Back and better than ever? No, probably not. Probably back and worse than ever. So we better watch out. In other news, why on earth did Harry think it was necessary to bring Chelsea into his court case and really intrude into her new life with her family and her precious new baby? If he really loved her, if he wanted her to be happy, why would he have done a thing like that? Obviously, Harry can't think of anyone else other than himself and Meghan Markle. I don't think Harry even for a moment considered how talking about Chelsea in this court case was going to affect her in her new life. I guess somebody just reminded Harry that when these alleged incidents happened, he was with Chelsea. Clearly, Harry doesn't care about anyone other than himself. It's not fair for him to drag her into this mess of a case. He's going to lose big time. Harry has not produced a single shred of evidence. He's just talked about his feelings and his suspicions. The judge really should have thrown this case out immediately. And I was pretty surprised that he referred to Chelsea as the love of his life. Whew. Definitely sounds like a setup for Meghan. It's just going to be one more reason to grant a divorce for a big old payout. How humiliating, though, to have her own husband publicly call another woman the love of his life when supposedly he and Meghan are deeply in love. And this statement is being reported all around the world, so I'm sure he said it. Harry really believes his own story about how she was just bothered by the press constantly, and she had to run away because she couldn't stand the fishbowl lifestyle. What he never really admitted to, though, was how sick and tired she was of his paranoia with the media and how he was always whining to her about it. She suggested that he get some therapy so he could become more balanced. Harry views her as the one who got away, and I'm guessing Chelsea sees herself as the lucky one who got away. I do wonder what Harry's going to face when he gets home from Meghan and she realizes that she was named second best. At the end of the day, stupid is as stupid does. Just imagine how Chelsea must feel right now. Who really cares how Meghan feels, though? Clearly Harry doesn't. Chelsea has moved on. She is living her best life. But Harry has to drag that poor girl back into his BS. Now, apparently, the only privacy that's important to Harry is his own. Meghan is just a prize cow, and I'm sure she is so angry having to hear Harry going on about the one that got away. As usual, everybody's getting thrown under the bus when Harry's in charge, and it is painful to both women, I think. It's just a very bad example. If he is all about being such a great person and caring for everybody's feelings and truth and all that, which obviously he's not, it gets clearer every day what Harry really cares about most. It is only himself. And I am curious about what Chelsea Davy thinks of all of this. Now, she's a private citizen of a different country, and clearly she moved on a long time ago. I don't believe that she's going to be happy with all this nonsense being brought up again, and I do wonder how Meghan Markle feels about all that. Harry is basically saying that without the media intrusion, he would have married Chelsea, the love of his life. Is it that she doesn't care anymore? Or maybe it's Meghan behind all of this. Maybe she's just setting Harry up for the divorce so that she can also say there were 3 people in their marriage. It's all bizarre. And as my grandmother used to say, it's only strange to us because we don't understand it. Harry does not have a lick of common sense, though. He just listens to whatever Meghan tells him. And why all the mystery surrounding the invisible children? It has already been demonstrated that Harry's going to throw anyone under the bus that he believes could help him. If it's in a court of law, fine, his book or anything else for that matter. Let's remember what he has been up to ever since he got married to Meghan. It's nothing good.